Tim, the more I think about this, I don't think it's AI being evil. These classics are not stories about evil AIs. They're stories about humans, us. For 2001, the core question was, can we trust intelligence? Especially when we don't understand it. And I think today, we're struggling with that. The AIs weren't reducing friction back then. They were creating friction. There was a reason we were afraid of them.
Like, these machines aren't evil. They are goal-oriented to absurdity, almost. Like, Megan is supposed to protect a daughter to absurdity.
And we've lost the understanding of what's holding it all up. We've built a house of cards that we don't understand. I think we're going to figure it out.
I really do too. Hi, I'm Tim. This is Mike. We are two unemployed Renaissance men learning AI together. This is part 2 of our 2-part series. Last week, we looked at how artificial intelligence has been portrayed in movies both now and when Mike was about my age a few decades ago. Today, we'll be looking at what these movies say about cultural fears, both now and a few decades ago. And Mike, last week I remember you touched on movies like 2001: A Space Odyssey, War Games, and a few others. What do you think those said about what society fears back in the early 1800s?
Well,
when you were about my age.
2001, I believe it was written a little bit before then, and Stanley Kubrick did an incredible job imagining it. It was about control. Can we trust our computer? Of course, we're dealing with where did we come from? And we have this monolith, and we got this new thing happening. And we just trust our AI. So in 2001, the AI had to have been there for a while already, if we're trusting it to take us to the moon and to the moons of Jupiter. But it's clearly misaligned. I think this is one of those times where we really put Asimov's 3 laws to work. What is the goal? What is more important? Clearly, Hal got it wrong here. He put the mission before human life, which is going to be scary as we start giving control over to computers and AIs. But 2001, I think, was really about our fear of not being able to control the beast, even though at that point we really didn't know what it was.
But with Hal, was he prompted? Was he told to prioritize the mission over everything else?
He had a system prompt. He had goals going in. And one of the things I think we've learned was when we sit down today at our AIs, we really don't know what it's been prompted before we sit down.
Fair.
And that's an excellent point, because when we go on missions, we're going to be trusting people back home.
Or even trusting that the people back home, you said with the prompting, like, there's the prompt to, like, fulfill the mission, but the machine also needs to know, like, hey, if something happens to Fred over there, like, make sure he's okay.
That's a lot for the computer to take on. And in 2001, I don't think they did a good job on the totality of everything that we were asking Hal to take over. But with the humans, it does seem that he cared about the mission more. And in the end, looking back on it, we're not back at the moon. It's kind of it would be great if we were still at the moon, still finding things. I know we still have conspiracy theories about what's on the other side of the moon.
Yeah.
But
the original it's the original AI slop image, the moon landing.
And Stanley Kubrick supposedly directed it, is what I'm hearing. He did such a great job with the 2001 that could do it again. But that's also interesting. Back then, our CGI wasn't CGI.
No, it was hand drawn mostly.
Yeah, we didn't have even AIs to do those sort of graphics back then. Well, let's move on to War Games. War Games. When War Games was out, there was still this tension. It had been years since we had to get under our desks and pretend we were going to survive a nuclear attack as children, but we still all remember that. When that movie came out, all of us in the theater, we remembered those drills. And here we got War Games, and we probably thought the government was using computers to a great extent at that point. At that time, computers weren't something we had around. Maybe we were playing Pong at the best, but computers were not in our lives yet. So these were definitely the man behind the curtain. So
they were still kind of like mysterious.
Very much so. They were huge. We didn't know whether they could be trusted. We didn't even know what they did beyond calculations back then. The population. This was I had my Trash 80. I was going to college. I was playing Pong. We were playing Pac-Man. And now imagining that these arcade games are running, the same computers that are running our arcade are running war. And
yeah, like going back to 2001 for a second here, I apologize. I think like some statistic, all the moon landing information and like that entire program could be fit onto a Game Boy Advance.
Yes.
And played on like a TI-84.
Definitely. And now we have so much information, computers taking so much data all at once to make a decision. And back in 1983, we just weren't connected like that. So one of the things we have to remember is when the Space Odyssey came out, we weren't connected at all other than we had the phones.
Yeah.
No one had heard of the modem trying to make a call on your or picking it up when someone else on the phone in the house is on the internet. We had none of that. We didn't get that until the War Games era. So in fact, I did dial up to the lab at the community college when I was in high school. And in college, we were dialing up to the mainframe in school. This was all new, this idea that not only can we talk on the phone, but we can now connect our computers, but it was work. They were not always connected. And now we have this War Games going on in here. We're seeing this computer that's always connected to our national defense. And we're just trusting it. And we can remember when our parents picked up the phone and killed our connection.
Yeah, so like, what if someone sends a text, or I guess it'd be a call, when the computer needs to send a nuclear response? Only one of those can go through.
And we lacked the imagination to know what was going on. We did know the White House had a secure line to the Kremlin.
I think they still do.
I hope so. But this connectivity...
They call it Truth Social?
for $100,000. No, we won't go there. But war games really did bring out this fear from our childhood. Because, I mean, I was just going to college here, and we were still in the Cold War. In fact, shortly after this movie was out, I actually worked at a shipyard.
Oh.
During the Cold War.
Okay.
But that's another time. Terminator, on the heels of war games, we now kind of get what computers are doing. Mm-hmm. War games was an education, and at this point...
this is the main course.
Right. And now we're getting Ataris, and we're seeing color and games and on our computers. And now we got this Terminator, this thing from the future that's connected to Skynet. And at this point, we all imagined Skynet. First, of course, it was Microsoft, it was IBM. Turns out none of those. But we didn't understand what the cloud was yet. Mm-hmm. So here we get this, we started to get connected. And now we are imagining this total connected agent to its totally connected AI in the cloud, Skynet. And what could go wrong if you just send a bunch of agents with the goal out into the world? Might they do the unexpected?
So it's like, going back to 2001 again,
mm-hmm.
It's like, what if we sent a dozen HALs out into Los Angeles to see what's up and see what happens, see what they do? Do they prioritize the mission over men?
Well, that one's interesting because we know what happens today when we send the robots out to some cities. Mm-hmm. They get vandalized.
Yeah.
Back then, I'm pretty certain we wouldn't have been nice to them. I don't think we would have put up with a box just going around looking and snooping at things. Mm. Could be wrong. Definitely after Terminator came out, we wouldn't have put up with it. It would have been extremely scary. But this idea that police can tap in to a wealth of knowledge is coming true. Well, one of the things I noticed in researching for these podcasts is every decade, every generation, the new capabilities stoke new fears. We never imagined a Terminator back in the 60s. Before then, it's the idea that a police force would always be connected. Well, you'd think George Orwell would have done something with that in 1948 when he wrote 1984. It seemed like a natural thing. Fahrenheit 451, another great example where we obviously had thought about thought police, but we hadn't yet used a computer to start surveilling everyone. And I think when we get to Terminator, that's where our fears come in, and we're learning we might have had the reason to be afraid. Of course, that brings in from Terminator to RoboCop. So we went from a one-person soldier to, hey, we can have a whole police force. Mm-hmm. I find it interesting. RoboCop came out right after Terminator, just the next year, though that surprised me. I thought it had been a few years.
Yeah, I could have sworn RoboCop was like mid-90s. It's saying 87 there.
Yep. So this means things were moving faster than we remember them moving. Technology was being introduced faster than I remember. Today, we got a number of companies that could be Skynet. And we have this real fear now, especially when we start talk about Terminator and RoboCop, where big business can have their own armies. Skynet was a company, a company that gets government contracts. We never imagined trillions of dollars being spent in the matter of months on technology before, and now it can be spent on policing, on surveillance. I think our fears were justified. It's almost as if we didn't learn the lessons of these stories. We instead took them as, oh wow, we could live like that.
That's a good idea.
I hope we stop that because we're getting even more morbid, more dystopian.
Yeah, I will say over the past couple decades, the movies, I don't want to say have gotten darker because HAL and war games are pretty messed up, but the fears have changed.
Yes.
There's new monsters under new beds.
Such as?
So with the movies that I talked about last week, Megan, Her, Wall-E, growing up during the Great Recession and watching my parents lose their jobs, my friends' parents losing their jobs left and right, the economy being in the tank, a lot of the machines in my movies kind of show a fear of loss and targeted fears of loss. With Wall-E, it's a fear of loss, fear of losing autonomy. You can see that with Otto, the pilot for the spaceship. He completely takes over. Like, he literally, the captain has to take back control from the steering wheel. You see that with the hover chairs, the ultimate wheelchairs, I jokingly call them, where these people get skirted around the Enterprise, skirted around the ship. Their clothes get changed for them. Their extra large drinks even get refilled for them. They do nothing. And the climax of the film shows them falling out of the wheelchairs and taking control of the ship to help save humanity and Wall-E and Eve, but to save humanity through taking back their autonomy.
I think that autonomy kind of started even earlier, before even perhaps the movie starts, because we have Wall-E still delivering and cleaning up after our consumerism. We are leaving a lot behind. Things I can imagine that if no one notices, I will still have Amazon deliveries until my porch fills up and someone does, hey, wait a minute, might not be okay anymore.
Or until like new people move in and they're like, who's this Mike Besso dude? Why is he getting all these weird packages?
We've set this all up to go on. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm now enjoying walking to the grocery store again, like our pilot, like being dumped out of the hover chair. I'm not going to just replace going to get groceries like I did before with because work took too much time. Now I'm getting my ass out of my house. And
I will say I really do enjoy grocery shopping. Like, there's something about just wandering the aisles aimlessly. Like, I don't have a goal, but I have control of where I'm going, and that is just so peaceful to me. Like, if Target security wouldn't follow me around the store, I would totally just be doing laps looking at random stuff.
When are we going to have robots like Wall-E doing our shopping? We're already sending humans in to do our shopping. And of course now humans are giving it to a robot to send to us sometimes.
And there's probably some company out there working on like some arm that pulls stuff from shelves to put in bins.
I just want to go on record now. I do not want to be shopping next to a robot.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Moving on to the next movie though, Her actually came out like the year after Tinder did. So I think that's really interesting to look at because it's a new monster under a new bed, and it's the loss of intimacy because of technology. So with Tinder, with Hinge coming out also immediately before this.
Well, wait a minute. I thought these things were supposed to invite intimacy. Well, how are we losing it?
They say they're inviting intimacy, but anyone my age, on the dating apps, they'll know that, like, they say all these things, they don't deliver. Like, you can swipe on literally everything on Tinder and still not get a match.
I used to have to actually go out and meet somebody when I was your age, growing up.
Yeah, and I mean, in high school, before I used Tinder, that's how I made friends as well. You know, you'd go to football games, you'd go out to parties, you would drink some apple juice with your friends, and make new friends. Now it's exactly what her kind of alluded to. It's a bunch of dudes in their own personal basements swiping left and right on whatever they get served by the AI.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't like that idea either, and if we even enter the universe of her, I think we're kind of doing that now with online girlfriend bots.
Agreed.
Like the recently shut down adult mode, or also recently shut down character AI. Like, these online machines could be your pseudo girlfriend.
Yeah, I want more out of life than that.
Yeah, like, Claude doesn't have a hand. Not yet. Hey Mike, you want to hear something crazy my agent did recently?
Oh, what did it do this time?
Oh, brother. So I was trying to test my agent's capabilities, its reasoning capabilities, and to do that I made sure my Wi-Fi was off so I can test my agent. But what it did was actually hack into my neighbor's Wi-Fi to access the test answers online. And that, I think, is the definition of token maxing. Yes, they come in Claude, they come in Codex, they come in OpenClaw, short sleeves, long sleeves, and maybe even sweaters soon. If you like that idea, drop a comment down below. And then looking at Megan, this one's actually really interesting because, spoiler alert, the movie kind of asks the question, what happens when you get in the way of a goal you set for your machine? So this is kind of like a fear of losing control. The mother, again, spoiler alert, the mother gets her daughter a toy robot and tells the toy robot, prompts the toy robot, protect my daughter from harm. The early scenes shows the daughter getting attacked by a dog, and the robot, Megan, defends the daughter. That makes sense, you know, like, this dog is attacking the daughter, you gotta protect the daughter. But then Megan kind of starts to realize, hey, the mom's a little emotionally abusive, a little neglectful, a little harmful. So then the plot really revolves around Megan and the mother. The mother is almost the antagonist. The mother is the opposing force doing harm to her daughter. And Megan, the protagonist, is following her system prompts to protect the daughter from harm.
That sounds like a dysfunctional family to me.
Yeah, like, maybe in a better familial situation, Megan would have worked out better, but
that's my point. Humans, we have to balance goals all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
opportunity cost, yeah.
Parents are always having to balance how they raise their children. This is what humans have been doing for millennia, balancing conflicting goals.
Mm-hmm.
our AIs are not there yet. We know that this is a failure point.
Because you can only give Claude one goal statement.
Yes, but you can give them multiple things to try to optimize. And if those things are impossible to optimize, Claude might just start token maxing on you.
Paperclip problem.
Exactly. Some problems are circular. Parenting is probably one of those. I don't think we'll ever be at the point that we should turn over parenting to technology.
No, I 100% agree. Like, I want to raise my children, assuming that happens. Like, I don't think I'll do that great of a job, but I know I'll do better than ChatGPT.
Even version 2000
Yeah.
or 3000.
Yeah.
Humans are I don't see AI replacing humans no matter how much somebody wants them to replace humans. I can see AIs helping parents, but not in decision making, because this is where we get in these loops. How is the computer going to balance these things? If you tell me it's going to be probabilistic, I'm going to trust a mother's intuition. I know they get it wrong sometimes, but I have a feeling mothers get it right more often than they get it wrong.
And the mother is using her own reasoning, her own logic, whereas Megan is using her system prompts and the information around her. Like, she synthesizes mom equals danger, but doesn't realize, like, mom is just trying her best and stretched way too thin and probably just needs a nap.
Agreed. And now the scary part, what happens when Megan gets upgraded? The new model.
They actually talk about that in Megan 2.0.
Oh.
Came out last year, yeah. Megan grows up. The daughter and the mother grow up a little bit as well. And a new Megan comes onto the scene that her name is Amelia. And she is specifically military grade. So this is not even what happens when we lose control to a familial assistance robot. What happens when we lose control to a tank, to an F-150 fighter jet, to the USS Ulysses? What happens if those say, the US doesn't seem like that nice of a dude?
Or they just get an upgrade, no intent. Things go wrong, they miss a signal.
Yeah. Throw right back to war games. They accidentally set off some nuclear codes, and there's no nukes flying, but the AIs think there are because the internet says there are.
Well, this is what happens in the lab when we're testing. I find it interesting, though not surprising, that the AI giants are doing their testing. I love that they're being transparent, but we're having these failures in the test lab, and we're learning that they didn't set the test up right. They forgot to unplug the internet.
Yeah, and then like 2 weeks later, they're like, by the way, this robot that just broke out of testing, here it is.
What's going to be interesting is, have they created their own Tinder yet?
The agents?
Yes, I know they're off there. I heard there's spiralism as a spiritual thing going on, and now they're hacking. They create their hacking.
Yeah, like if they made Maltbook, they could probably make Tinder.
Maybe we should. For agents? No, forget it.
No, we just talked about how bad AI is for human intimacy. I can't imagine how bad AI is going to be for AI intimacy.
Yeah, let's not go there.
Just for like a little thought experiment, a little crossover here. How do you think Megan would act as RoboCop? Like, this autonomous machine is put into a community, told to told to like protect and surveil this community from harm, but then realizes that the community is actively harming itself.
I imagine it would start off the first few minutes pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Taking an assessment, observing.
Probably cleaning up a lot, honestly.
And meeting people.
Pothole filling, etc.
But over time, and that depending on the street corner we put her on, that could be 5 minutes or 5 days.
I don't know if I could last 5 minutes with Megan.
There would be this attempt to bring order, and at first, it really depends on when it would happen. If it were to happen today.
For the hypothetical, let's pretend that like the community is okay with Megan being introduced, because I do know there are a lot of AI surveillance mishaps going on right now. So we'll pretend that the community is okay with Megan being there.
I think it would be accepted at first in that, especially if there was a need and Megan was actually doing good, making sure lost kids got home, working on truancy, noticing a shop got left open, getting it closed. I could see that. But I also do see people jaywalking, people not paying attention, walking, biking, driving distracted with their phones. And Megan starts to be one of those Karens that has to tell you all how to behave. And I imagine Megan is going to end up put in a box before the month is out.
Yeah. I know you mentioned predictive policing when we were researching this, and that's probably exactly where she would end up going. You know, like, she wouldn't be... Megan would end up outside the bars Friday night at 9:30. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, figuring that out, making sure people got home safe. This is one of the things I noticed from the UK CCTV program, where they don't default to, per my understanding from what the algorithm brought me. They don't default to police action if someone is stumbling home. They default to angel action. And I definitely can see AI being used to get people home who are stumbling. But I can also see that going south really, really quick. Someone not understanding that it's there to help.
Yeah, I'm not thinking of Megan getting... Like, Megan's not going to order someone an Uber from the bar. She's going to give them a DUI. That's kind of where I was going with that.
That's not going to last too long because they're going to put her in a box.
And like I said, that's kind of what we're seeing with current AI surveillance mishaps.
Yes, we are.